Hello, YouTube audience! Is Nintendo music getting worse? Well, if you ask me after doing my Mario Kart and Air Riders OST rankings last year, no. I've been into video game music pretty much my entire life, and so far this decade's first 5 years have yielded some of the best soundtracks the industry has literally ever seen. If we're just talking about Nintendo, we got Kirby and the Forgotten Land, we got Mario Wonder, Bowser's Fury, Xenoblade 3, Splatoon 3, all the Mario RPGs of the last few years, and if you want to get outside of Nintendo, we have other big AAA hits and indie games. So we have Final Fantasy 16 and Rebirth, Deltarune, we have freaking stuff like Born at Bread and Penny's Big Breakaway, and freaking Astro Bot. What the heck? I could dive deeper on a million examples, but I don't want the prelude to this reaction to be like an hour long when I'm gonna do more soundtrack rankings on my channel anyway. So when this guy says, is Nintendo music getting worse? The implication is kind of being that yes, Nintendo music is getting worse, or that it's a bad thing that Nintendo music isn't exactly the same anymore. And I'm like mashing X to mega doubt when Mario Kart World came out this year. There's no world where I end up agreeing with this video, but I would say that if this guy actually pulls up and knows ball, I can see a world where I can agree to disagree and give him a nice firm handshake, I think. You guys know what time it is. You know what kind of day it is.
Good day for a swell battle.
Take it away, that guy Biss. That guy Biss.
Old Nintendo soundtracks used to hit, man.
Yeah, I don't think they never stopped hit. See, okay, all right. See, here's the thing. I know that I like literally haven't let him make like any actual point in this video, but I just don't like that opening, because it's like, man, guys, remember when things were good in the old days? Guys, now I'm like 25 and I want to kill myself. I don't know. I think that's the main issue I kind of have with the framing of this video, is it really just comes across as like a very big excuse to do old thing bad, old thing good, new thing bad. I don't know.
I was jamming to the Donkey Kong Country soundtrack.
True.
The other day when it just hit.
The other day.
Nintendo music isn't the same anymore. And this
It's
isn't
changed.
just nostalgia talking. The philosophy behind the
I'm gonna choose to believe it's not the nostalgia talking until I hear what your examples are, buddy.
music changed as well. Back then, every track felt intentional. Music and sound effects didn't just coexist. No, they blended together into this perfect little mishmash that kept you immersed no matter what was happening on screen. Now,
For example? Like, can you show us an example of that like happening and really let us like seep that in, right?
a lot of it feels
No. Instead, Breath of the Wild has a minimalist piano score. Nintendo music just isn't the same anymore, guys. Yeah,
safer. Like it's not trying to bother you and trying to let the game do most of the work to immerse you. And I think that's a huge mistake. Because there are three reasons why Nintendo's music shifted, and once you notice them, you can't unhear them. By
what
the
is
end,
this?
You'll be able to hear modern Nintendo soundtracks way different, and you'll know exactly why the music changed.
Why did it
First,
change?
intent.
So what would you guys say the intent of making music for a video game would be? I would say a big part of it is like to immerse the player in the world. I think it's really to like communicate a sense of place. I think a lot of it has to do with like a sense of place or identity, right? Or to kind of communicate like the speed at which you're supposed to communicate with the game. I think speed and tempo is a big part of adding a soundtrack. Yeah, like setting the tone for the experience. Yeah, exactly.
Older Nintendo soundtracks were built with a specific purpose in mind. Let me show you what I mean.
Like what? like what does that even mean? Like, so if older soundtrack is built with specific purpose in mind, is he saying newer soundtrack is not built with specific purpose in mind? He's about to dive into specific examples. I think this is what really makes or breaks the video right here, right?
I mean, with Donkey Kong Country 2. If
True, I love Donkey Kong Country 2.
No visuals, no context. What level do you think this is?
Based on the sound effects, I would say it's some sort of water, some sort of dire underwater level. And also, I'm getting from the clangy drums that it's a very kind of scary kind of environment, kind of an environment where you don't want to get taken off guard. You always got to put your guard up, right? I'm assuming that's what you want me to think, right?
The first words that probably came to mind were water level, right? You probably pictured it instantly, and that's the point. Back then, you could extract what...
And guys, that's the point. All right, so I've got this song on the side here. So this is from a Nintendo game that came out within the last 10 years. I want you to tell me what kind of environment do you think this is for? I love the kind of like bubbling sound and like the far speakers too. What are we kind of thinking here, chat? Got like some zithers, kind of a jungle bungle, desert feeling a little bit. Yeah, I feel like it definitely, or a jungle too actually, jungle or desert. Yeah, okay. Metal. What are we thinking with that? What are we thinking with that whistle? What are we thinking with that whistle? You guys, I'm actually not gonna blame you for saying jungle or desert, because that's actually Mount Volcano, the lava stage from Super Mario Odyssey. But considering a volcano level is naturally going to have a pretty similar vibe to a desert stage, I don't blame you at all, you know? So I think even at the very worst, how about this? Can I say, even without like sound effects literally being in the mix, you guys could kind of make a very educated guess still based on this relatively modern composition. And I think the problem is when you say Nintendo music isn't the same anymore, or the Nintendo music is getting worse, when did that start happening? I don't think he's going to say that. I don't think he's going to say that. Because when can you say Nintendo music stopped having intent? When are you going to draw a line in the sand and say, yeah, Nintendo music isn't intentional anymore? That doesn't make any sense. Because why would Nintendo hire composers and say to them, yeah, just make like any, like you can literally like, one, just make anything as if they wouldn't make the coolest shit ever. But two, how are you going to say that they're not making work that literally has artistic intent behind it?
What the hell?
That like doesn't make any sense.
Oh my god. No
and also,
way.
and also look, this guy put the fucking Death Note guy on the screen. What the fuck? Oh my god. I can't believe this. Yo, I cannot believe this. Yo, I cannot believe this. Like, if it's not intentional, what is it? Nintendo music these days is so by accident, am I right? Also, us as consumers have evolved past these simple themes in games. Games are more complex, which requires more artful and complicated music. Uh-oh, accidentally made Corridors of Time, guys, on my time. You know what's so funny about that is that Yasunori Mitsuda, like, sent himself to the fucking hospital. Wow! From, like, working on Chrono Trigger's soundtrack too hard. So, like, when you say this, like, oopsie daisy, I accidentally made a song and I ended up in the hospital. Let's do one more. Let's do one more actually, just to really hammer this home. Let me get something that's got sound effects in it so that we can go along with his thesis a little bit. What kind of environment do you think this is? What is the sound giving to you? This has sound effects in it, just like the water guy's example. whoa. What are you guys thinking with those soft harps and the accordion and the nice synths? And that gorgeous pan flute too. Peaceful meadow, okay. Very serene village or forest, okay. We need, it sounds peaceful, okay. This is so beautiful, what the fuck? So you guys actually all kind of nailed it a little bit, because this is the Garden of Hope Morning from Pikmin 3. Good job, you guys. You guys really used your listening ears. You kind of used, like, your just overall knowledge to kind of understand the intent the communicators were trying to communicate to you. Wow. Crazy.
Pictured it instantly, and that's the point. Back then, you could extract what the level even is just by listening. The music wasn't just in the background, it was telling you.
But can't, even if we said, like, what the fuck are you talking about? We just proved you can still do that with a more recent piece. We just proved that you can do it with a more recent piece. Like, what the fuck are we talking about?
Where you are. But the real beauty is how it does that.
How does it do it?
Lockjaw's Saga doesn't just use instruments. You hear the water slosh underneath while that tense melody sits on top, because you've got 5 seconds in the water.
Basically, all you're telling me is you like it when they incorporate sound effects in the mix, but that's not even a technological like requirement anymore. But also, like, plenty of music also just does that for the heck of it. So I feel like this is kind of a nothing burger, to be honest.
Water before Lockjaw comes biting for that monkey ass. See how the vibe of the music perfectly reflects what you're doing in the level? And that's the genius of David Wise, who composed the entire...
Okay, alright. Guys, David Wise is a good composer because he put a water sound effect. There's only a water sound effect. What? What the fuck does that even mean, bro? Alright, tell me more about David Wise, bro. I think all of us here, we love David Wise, right? I feel like that's like such a degradation of like, of his like main, of his, of like what makes him exactly so talented, which is obviously his compositions. You know, this guy's whole premise is flawed, and here's why. The SNES was one of the first platforms to use sample-based audio. It is the trendsetter for which instruments and styles we now associate with what vibes. Wow! True. Yep. So I think, yeah, the Super Nintendo, I think the work done on the Super Nintendo, basically what you're trying to say is a lot of the most popular tracks on the Super Nintendo is basically where we get a lot of the archetypal video game, like, level archetypes from, and it's carried forward unto now, is basically what you're trying to say. It's like saying rope is better than not. Holy shit.
What the hell?
That's awesome.
Oh my god, no way, yeah.
That's crazy.
Soundtrack of Donkey Kong Country 2 all
Right.
on his own, which
Yes.
I think is a big reason it outshines the rest of the trilogy. But Wise...
Wait. Guys, I thought all Nintendo music was better than all new Nintendo music. Wait. Are you telling me that sometimes some soundtracks are a little bit better or worse than other soundtracks?
Oh my god!
What the fuck? Anyway, that's me. I won't lie. That was me being a little bit. That's me being a little bit petty.
Wasn't just flying blind here.
Okay.
To hit that level of precision, he needed to know exactly what kind of environment or gameplay he was composing for.
Uh-huh.
And he
Okay.
actually confirmed that for me in this interview.
What? Wait. Okay, wait.
Would they show you like gameplay footage?
Oh yeah,
Or would
absolutely.
it just be like more like pictures?
It depends how far along in the process, but often I get to play the level before I actually started writing music.
No wonder we...
What the hell? Oh my god, no way, yeah.
This is fucking crazy. So you're so basically, okay. So I'm not trying to paint like David Wise as like So he literally said, so they showed you footage, right? And David Wise was like, yes, or I got to play the level before I worked on the music for it. But then this guy is like, see, composers now, they don't even look at footage. What the fuck? What? That doesn't even make any sense. Huh? What? Wow! I'm flabbergasted. That is like literally the most nothing. Hey, look, I can do it too. Check this out. When I'm in Ableton, as it's a music software that professionals can use, I can take my stream starting loop and look, the video is in here and is synced up to the timeline. So if I wanted to make music for this, all I would have to do is take some footage and bring it into my DAW. And guess what? I have fucking Ableton. They're definitely using way better pieces of software to make professional video game soundtracks, okay? So when David Wise says, yeah, I played the level, or they like showed me some footage of it and then I went and I made my music, literally every composer is also still doing this. Wow! So this is like, so this is like the most nothing point ever made. All right, so let's see how we make a mountain out of this nothing burger, I guess.
You can tell what the level is just by listening. To be fair, Donkey Kong Country 2 is a level-based game. It's smaller, more segmented, and that actually helps Wise get surgical. Each stage has a clear identity, so each track can be tailored to one specific place. But when you jump to some...
my god. Okay, we'll get to you in a second. A lot of video games are still like this. Astro Bot was like this, and that soundtrack is great. Guess what just came out on streaming the other day? The Final Fantasy VII Rebirth soundtrack. That has over 170 songs just on the NOT bonus soundtrack. If you don't want to call, if you refuse to call that surgical, I feel like you are kind of nuts for that. I'm gonna be real. And also, I feel like if let's get into this Donkey Kong Bonanza slander he clearly wants to get into.
Something like DK Bonanza, I can't remember any of the music.
Any? He can't remember any, gamers. I don't think we played the same game, brother. Do you want to provide me with some examples of stuff that you find disappointing?
Part of that is a lot of the sound effects being intertwined with the music are mostly gone. It's just purely instruments.
Wait.
That David Wise.
So do you actually think that a song is more catchy when it has sound effects in it? That's like the most neutral thing that could ever happen. What the fuck?
Approach where both were intertwined together. Maybe that's a subjective thing.
It literally is. You couldn't be more subjective.
Played, where it played, or what it's trying to say most of the time with.
What? Really though? The Pauline songs? Okay. Or what it's trying to say. So he's saying
just purely instruments, but I miss that.
It's
David
purely
Wise
instrument. Dude, shut the fuck up. You're just completely. You're wrong. This is a dog shit point. This is a dog shit point already, bro. We're only 3 minutes into this video.
Together. Maybe that's a subjective thing, but even then, I couldn't tell you when a track played, where it played, or what it's trying to say most of the time within Bonanza. A lot of it just feels like a beat that loops until you've completed the area. In contrast,
Okay. I never even finished it, and I can still hear Pauline go, whoa, whoa. I know exactly the sound effect you're talking about, sound guy. You start pressing the button, and she goes, whoa, whoa. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, guess what? We're going to play our little game again. Let me pull up some songs from DK Bonanza that I definitely remember. What kind of environment is this kind of giving you the vibes for? I'm gonna tell you, I'm looking for like a specific like elemental biome. Boom, boom, boom. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, dun, dun. It's kind of synthy and kind of twinkly, huh? It's kind of crystally, yeah? Good guess, May. Yeah, crystal or technology, okay. You guys are actually pretty dead on. This is the chocolate cake freezer layer, okay? So that has a lot to do with, yeah, crystal or technology, kind of crystally, yeah. Freezer layer from Donkey Kong Bonanza, okay. All right, guys, now we're gonna do one of the Bonanza transformations, okay? And I want you guys to tell me, based on listening, either what type of power. Okay, your answer is gonna be two parts. Well, the first part is, what kind of power up do you think it provides Donkey Kong? Two, if you had to guess, what kind of animal could it possibly be? Because I'm talking with people that are very unfamiliar with the soundtrack, which is perfectly fine. So I want you guys to give me that two-part answer. Music. We gotta listen to the intro. So much pitch bending. And Pauline's really hitting like that like Dochi kind of rapping style. It's got like some like sass to it. Ooh. Alright, we're already in the second loop, guys. Let's get our guesses in here. Let's get our guesses in. Oh, so this one was a little bit more split. Okay. Fiery, I guess, like it's really energetic. Okay, especially with the synth and the drums. Plus his snake. Soundfun guy says, feels stompy. Yeah, I'm kind of with SFG. I'm not 100% sure, but this song is really fun. What if I told you that one of you, only one of you was right? Wow! And I'm going to reveal it to you. I'm going to reveal it to you right now. This was actually the theme of the Snake Bonanza. Wow! So very good guesses, you guys. Very, very good guesses. Now, to be fair, with specifically choosing an animal or power-up, I think that you guys are, you made some very good educated guesses, right? Even because you guys are demonstrating that you're capable of actively listening and making educated guesses and not saying that the song isn't memorable because it doesn't have sound effects in it. Right? I have a very smart chat.
Almost all of the country soundtracks accomplish the exact opposite of that and go even further beyond. Take a listen to DK Island Swing from Donkey Kong Country 1. The song
It's a good song. It's a good song.
Starts with that classic drum beat and slowly
the classic
builds as
drum
Donkey
beat we
Kong
all know
bursts
and
out
love.
of his hut. Birds chirping, crickets humming, the whole forest singing along with the groove.
I'm gonna be real. I feel like the major difference is that you've been listening to this song for like 20 years and Donkey Kong Bonanza came out like 6 months ago. I feel like that's most of why you're making this specific argument right now.
But then, later in the track, the mood...
Because can I actually tell you about something that happened to me with Donkey Kong Bonanza? I actually found it to be a little bit of a disappointing soundtrack. I was even thinking about writing a video about why I felt it was so disappointing. But now that 6 months have gone by, I don't really care. I think the game is like tons of fantastic tracks, you know? I think it's a really fantastic soundtrack, you know? A lot of soundtracks just really take time to grow on you, and that's fine, you know? But I'm not gonna sit here and say older stuff is just like inherently better because I've listened to it more than the new stuff. You know what I mean? I feel like that doesn't make any sense. That's what this comparison is kind of really giving me, especially because you didn't show any grace to Donkey Kong Bonanza, or you didn't even show an example of what exactly made a specific track feel so unmemorable to you. You just kind of brushed it all off, which is really sad.
Gets tense and suddenly matches what the game is asking you to do.
Right.
Precariously swing between ropes, time and jumps between bees that could make you lose a life with one wrong
So you like
move.
that it has like a very distinct like A and B sections, huh? Yeah, it's a really good composition.
That's the difference.
But not every song in the
music
game
was
has
crafted
that.
on a moment-to-moment basis, like it was part of the level design. And I feel like this
Oh, get get Yakuza out of here, bro. If you're gonna slander Yakuza, come on. It literally couldn't be scored on a moment-to-moment basis. If, in fact, now video games can actually do that by dynamically layering the music. Is it more interesting when a composition has distinct different sections? Yes. And no approach is like inherently better than any other one. Like, what? I just feel like this video is just really confusing me.
is such a lost art when it comes to
lost
video game
art.
soundtracks these days, even excluding
See,
Nintendo.
even excluding Nintendo? I'm sorry, I disagree. What did I say in the intro, gamers? What did I say in the intro? We've got Final Fantasy 16 and Rebirth. We've got Deltarune. We've got Born and Bred, which I really liked. I've got Penny's Big Breakaway by T. Lopes, Break It Away from Sonic. We've got Astro Bot. Crazy how there are so many games. There are beautiful games everywhere for those with eyes to see. And even in the case that you don't like more orchestral or cinematically inspired tracks, you don't have to play games that have those things. And also, if you're citing Dying Light, I actually do agree. I think Dying Light specifically has a really boring soundtrack, but like video game music is better than it like ever has been. We don't need to be a little bitch baby and complain about everything, bro. Just because Dying Light has a bad soundtrack doesn't mean that most video games do.
What the hell?
So, yeah, I don't know.
No way.
Yeah, Plush says, yeah, this guy is annoying. He needs to open his mind a little. Holy shit. And that's Plush saying that. That's Plush, the nicest girl in the world, saying that. God damn. May says, almost as if times have changed, where now that we have less limitations on sound, composers can express the soundtrack of the video game they're composing more in their own ways, more freely. Yes! True! And for huge games, we even have massive teams of composers, which means that they can get even more surgical by having a director say, hey, I want multiple tracks for this area, and multiple composers can create these different tracks, meaning that any given specific area of a video game can have like 10 of its own distinct songs. Wow! Crazy! So basically what you're telling me, it really just kind of seems like the reason this guy doesn't know the intent behind more current stuff is because he's listened to the Donkey Kong Island Swing 8 million times, and he hasn't listened to the Donkey Kong Bonanza soundtrack 1 million times because it came out 6 months ago. Alright, let's move on.
Soundtracks used to feel inseparable from gameplay and still stand on their own.
What the fuck, dude? Okay, in Final Fantasy VII, every region of the map has an overworld version that transitions into a combat interpretation of the same song. It's literally inseparable from gameplay. They literally interweaved how the soundtrack's very mood into the gameplay. Dumbass. I'm going fully evil. I'm going evil Izzy mode. Dude, if Paperwing's music wants to get fucking lunch with me, they can do it. But if this guy wants to get lunch from me, I'm gonna say, I think I'm actually a little bit busy that day.
A lot of them can't do either. That's just Donkey Kong, though.
Shut the fuck.
Nowhere is this shift more obvious.
Dude. Bobby, keep the shit. Are you hearing the shit this guy is saying? The Zelda music is. He said that Breath of the Wild soundtrack is bad. But I can't remember anything from the Breath of the Wild soundtrack. He's so boring. Guys, this guy's so boring. Oh my god. Come on, dude. Breath of the Wild bad is so boring.
Look, people say Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom have great music.
They do.
And I get what they mean. It fits the atmosphere.
Yes.
A lot of the time, you're just moving through open fields, so instead of a big melody,
right,
you get these little piano phrases that pop in and out, while the world does the heavy.
That's not the whole soundtrack, though, dumbass. Oh my god.
Lifting. Wind in the grass, birds, bugs, footsteps, the whole soundscape. That's
the sound
really
design is
a
great.
design decision.
Right.
For me, though, it's too far of a departure from what makes Zelda, Zelda. Koji Kondo's music, who had been the
Oh my god. Okay, first of all, I love Koji Kondo's music. You want it? So you want some good music? You want some good, memorable music? What if we're just chilling on the Sheikah Tower and it's the most beautiful, surreal thing you've ever heard? Whoa. I've never felt more at peace looking out over the environment in my life. The enemy's getting your face. It's getting a little frantic. You're circling the enemy. You kind of don't know who's going to make the first move. Oh, is it time to go full throttle? Fight! Trade blows, brother! You go across the sand! You go across the sand! Wait! Wait, is this that melody you were looking for? That flowing melody? You want a silly song? You guys want a silly sounding song? Bang, bang, dum, dum, dum. Bow, bow, bow. Ho, 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 ho. Bow, bow, bow. You get this like frantic jam session for this like silly guy that you have to beat up. It's silly as hell. Yeah, so I think we've shown Breath of the Wild still has a fantastic soundtrack. He's just being a little goo goo gaga baby. Like, what the fuck? Let's see, the reason he doesn't understand the intent people have now is that the intent is not locked behind 8 channels of samples anymore like on the SNES. Games just evolve. True. Wow! Okay, if he's gonna talk about Breath of the Wild, he can just say he doesn't like classical music. LMAO. Just say you like A$AP Rocky, but it's a completely different style of game. It deserves a completely different style of music. Evolution. Bro is praising sound effects as part of music, but then he dogs on it when it's literally in Breath of the Wild. Yeah, it's so strange how when you're not limited to 8 sound channels, you can afford to do separate sound design work that sounds fantastic outside of the music. And I'm gonna be real. If he wants sound effects in his music, just like, I don't even know. Like, just go, I don't know. Go find somebody on fucking Spotify, bro.
What the hell?
Like, this is just like embarrassing.
Oh my God, no way.
Guys, we're 5 minutes into the video. We gotta keep going. We gotta keep going. If you don't know, Koji Kondo created many of the original soundtracks throughout like the first 10 years of Mario and Zelda, as well as other beloved Nintendo franchises. I love Koji Kondo. He's a fantastic composer and he did a great job pretty much up until the GameCube. However, at that point he took a serious step back and allowed other teams of composers to take over for these franchises. I believe the major starting point for this, Mario Sunshine and The Wind Waker, which isn't even to count on the N64 and Super Nintendo, the spin-offs for those series, you know? Like Mario Kart is always at a different composer, the Mario sports games have always had a different composer. So now Koji Kondo is too old, and he makes a song sometimes, but he's mostly there to be like, yeah, that fits Mario and Zelda, yeah, whatever, you know? Because Nintendo's a big company, they have a lot more composers at their disposal now who can all make these very intelligent decisions on what sounds right for each specific game. Because Koji Kondo, God bless him, is old and he can't work as much as he used to. Crazy that people get older as time goes on. All right, Koji Kondo.
The main composer for the series up until Breath of the Wild is absolutely legendary.
What did I just say, dude? What did I just say? This guy, so if this guy actually believes this, right? It's just as embarrassing as when I click on Twilight, like a thing from Twilight Princess, and people say, game developed by Shigeru Miyamoto. And therefore soundtrack made by Koji Kondo, is because they don't know anybody else's names. They don't know anybody else's names in the age of information. They don't know anything. So this guy may have contributed, he definitely probably contributed a couple tracks to Twilight Princess, but even as soon as fucking Majora's Mask, he had a co-composer. And that co-composer that helped with a couple tracks on Majora's Mask was actually Toru Mengishi, who is now the sound director for the Splatoon series. Crazy that you can get one of the best and most popular series and its cool-ass new approach to Nintendo music by giving the reins to somebody who got their start as a newbie at one point or another.
Wow! Who doesn't remember the theme that plays whenever you enter a house? Midna's Lament, anybody?
Okay, again, 20-year-old soundtracks, so you've listened to them 1 million times as opposed to games that have been out for less than 20 years. So I don't believe you. Guys, is it fair to say that like pretty much any point that this guy says at this point, we can say, I don't believe you? Is that fair to say at this point? Koji Kondo was actually there to assist Beethoven creating Fur Elise, by the way. True, I believe May. I believe May when she says that. Sometimes I feel like we're too attached to Legends to let other people take up that mantle for the next generation, you know? Yes, I absolutely agree. Because guess what? All the people we grew up with are old as fuck. So if you want to keep loving video games, which I fucking love video games, then I want new people to do what they think is best. And if I think it's a mid-song, it's a mid-song. But guess what? The most of the time they're gonna hit because they were picked for the job and they were right for the job.
I mean, come on. You can't tell me losing all of that is worth the identity now being mostly silence.
It didn't lose the identity. There is still plenty of catchy fucking tunes. Hey guys, you want to hear some songs that I really love from Tears of the Kingdom? Yeah, I love this part of the song. Listen to this battle, how frantic it is. So you're flying around in the air to fight this boss, by the way. Like you're constantly gliding, you're constantly up in the air. I love this part, listen to this. Like, it's just such a good melodic moment. See, isn't this just such a nice little town theme? Yeah, it's just so cute. I love it. Yeah, it's like, yeah, Tears of the Kingdom. So, and I think what's also interesting to bring up is that Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom are incredibly experimental games, not just for the Zelda series, as it completely turned the Zelda series on its head, but also because for Nintendo games. So I think they were just trying a lot of really new stuff. Who's to say that we know what the next Zelda game is going to look like, play like to an extent, sound like? We don't know, because every Zelda game is very different from the last. Oh, also, I forgot to mention what I said before, but there's really clear nitpicking here. Air Riders and Mario Kart Worlds OSTs are both very different cases and much less experimental soundtrack. Yes! Yeah, these current Zelda games are very experimental, so it's okay.
Which brings us to the next point.
Stop showing the
If
Office
sound of
clips, though. It's so fucking embarrassing, bro.
Nintendo used to be shaped by names like Koji
If Nintendo used to be shaped by names like Koji Kondo, okay. Just rip the band-aid off,
Kondo
bro.
and David Wise, who's actually behind the music now. Naoto Kubo.
Fucking kill me, dude. Fucking kill me. You can look it up, bro. You did look it up. Who cares?
The lead composer for Donkey Kong Bonanza, known for his work on Super Mario Odyssey.
Great
Which honestly
soundtrack.
makes total sense.
Yes.
The music feels way more in line with Odyssey than the bombast and synth feel of the Donkey Kong Country soundtracks.
What? Huh? Continue, I guess. That doesn't mean anything.
David Wise was not at all involved, and Grant Kirkhope's only inclusion was one.
Yes, because they don't work for Nintendo. They worked at Rare, and now they work elsewhere. DKC wasn't really bombastic, though. No, it wasn't, and he just praised it for not being bombastic and instead matching the moment-to-moment gameplay, which would mean to be in a naturalistic setting, it would be inherently not that bombastic. I don't think he knows what that word means.
One small reference to the DK rap, Whenever You're Next to a Bed, which
Yeah,
was
they did.
honestly
They made
one of the most memorable tracks in that game. funnily
Ooh,
enough.
wrong. Wrong. By the way, we've officially entered hate watch territory. I think at this point it's fair to say I don't believe anything this guy says and I don't like this video. So we're in hate watch territory, by the way. So I'm gonna show you guys the basic power-up theme, the Kong Bonanza, and this is like not a memorable song according to this guy. Ooh. Sing it, sister! Is that one leaving your guys' head anytime soon? I don't think so. Especially when this chorus kicks in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Do na 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 na. Na 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 na. I'm not hitting that high note with you, Pauline. Yeah, anyway, that's not memorable apparently.
Donkey Kong.
Uh-huh.
I guess what I'm trying to say
That joke was not funny and you should have edited it out of the video.
here is that Donkey Kong has an accent, and a lot of the time, the Rare era composers spoke it fluently. They fully understood what makes Donkey Kong because they took the character from Miyamoto and fleshed him out more than Nintendo ever could have imagined.
And now, because Donkey Kong Bonanza is a fucking reboot, they are once again giving him a new identity. What is hard to understand about this? Okay, you're starting to change my mind about this OST. Dude, but Bangers has been Elliot. Yeah, guys, isn't it crazy that I can actually demonstrate to you why this soundtrack is pretty cool and good by actually fucking showing you examples?
Wow! Oh my god!
Isn't that a crazy idea? Yo, I cannot believe this. Yo, I cannot believe this.
Imagined. So when modern Nintendo tries to take back the reins again,
Dude, So now are you trying to like imply that DK Bonanza was like a shit game? Because it was like low-key my fucking game of the year last year, bro. Oh my god.
I just feel like something gets lost in translation.
It literally
The
didn't,
scoring
bro.
feels like it's speaking a
It literally didn't. Okay.
different dialect. It's competent, polished, for sure, but not.
You guys want to hear another? You guys want to hear another good song from this game? It's not going to be one of the Bonanza songs this time. This is going to be from the first main layer of the game. This is like the first big level in the game. It's a great song. This is a nice fishing town that you go to. We're getting that classic Donkey Kong feel. Oh, there's a reference to the DK Island Swing. Isn't that nice? Isn't this just such a nice song to listen to? Like, I'm just sitting here moving like my shoulders and stuff. We're slowly building. Even though he wants to say, yeah, Nintendo took back the reins. Nintendo took back the reins and they're completely redoing Donkey Kong. We heard that we had a reference to the DK Island Swing just earlier in the song. See, so we still have a reference to Rare because this game has a shocking amount of reverence for DK's Rare days. Isn't that crazy? Which you would know if you would. You know what, I'm actually gonna hit you with this. I'm actually gonna hit you with this, that guy Biss. Maybe you would know that it has an immense amount of reverence for Donkey Kong's Rare days if you had actually played the game.
What the hell? Oh my god, no way.
I'm hitting you with those allegations until you prove to me that you've actually played this game and you have an actual opinion on it.
Not Donkey Kong.
Yes, it
Zelda
literally
might
is.
have a similar
Okay,
issue.
even if it wasn't the Rare version of Donkey Kong, Bonanza's a reboot. It can be anything. Another nothing burger.
Because
Halfway,
Koji
over
Kondo,
halfway through the
guy
video, by the way.
responsible for all the Zelda soundtracks we've come to love over the years, has been
No, the Wind Waker was done by the fucking Pikmin guy, and I love that guy's style, and several other guys, obviously.
replaced by Manaka Kataoka and Yasuaki Iwata for both Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom.
Oh,
Kondo
congrats
now
to them for
focuses
making
more on
fantastic
supervision
soundtracks.
Instead, it's not just
Yes,
the
he
music.
has been doing this for 20 years.
What the hell?
Crazy.
Oh my god, no way.
Guys, we've got to make it through this video. I feel like
I'm seconds away from a heart attack.
we gotta keep going.
Music that's changed then. It's the people behind the music that
Yes.
have changed as well.
Yes.
And I get it, right? Nothing lasts forever. Composers move on, studios change,
Yes.
franchises evolve. But
Clearly you don't understand this because you don't even know that Koji Kondo hasn't been making most of the music in these games for 2 decades. Clearly you don't understand this.
when someone defines the identity of a series for decades, I don't want that voice
More
to
like,
just
I'm gonna be real. More like a decade, bro. More like 15 years out of the 40-year-old thing. Like, Zelda's turning 40 this year. So if Koji Kondo stopped making music, like being the only person who made Zelda music, which isn't even true, because a different composer actually also worked on Link's Awakening as well, which has one of the best Zelda soundtracks ever made, right? So even if we're just looking at the console games, Koji Kondo would have done original Zelda 2, A Link to the Past, Ocarina of Time, and Majora's Mask. 5 games. And yes, those soundtracks are so goated that they're still drawing from them to this day. Obviously, because they're early entries in the franchise and they have fantastic soundtracks, but because a different sound team was already coming in for games like Luigi's Mansion, Mario Sunshine, The Wind Waker, any given spin-off to any of those other series, right? Nintendo has always had and will continue to pick up and have fantastic composers that are just now doing something a little bit different. I genuinely don't think you actually have a love in your heart for video game music and all that it can be. I'm gonna be so real, bro.
Appear into background ambiance as the years go on. And the third reason is one
He's
nobody
old,
talks
dude.
about, and is
You're
the most
old. You're
impactful
old.
one. Because it's not just about composers.
What's your
changing,
last reason?
It's about game design.
Bro thinks he's a game designer now, bro. Bro thinks he's a game designer.
Oh my god! I can't believe this! Yo, I can't believe this! Yo, I cannot believe this!
Dude, I hope that you literally never have any authority to talk about video games, game design ever, but let's see what you have to say.
Modern Nintendo builds different kinds of games than they used to. So the music has a different job. I touched on this a bit earlier, but when games were much smaller in the SNES,
Smaller?
GameCube, hell, even Wii era, you're able to be more specific about...
Oh my fucking god, dude. It's all the same point, bro. It's all the same point, dude. Bro is just old as fuck. He's like, guys, 20 years ago, when I was able to get more, when I had more time to get more familiar with these games, they were better. And now that I have less time on my hands, I feel really frustrated that I can't understand them as quickly or as deeply.
What you want the
You still
music
can,
to
bro.
accomplish. That's
You
why
still
something
can.
like my DK
Just stop
Island
being an
swing
old-ass
example
hater.
works so well. The music can mirror what you're doing moment to moment, because the game is guiding you through a curated sequence of challenges. But then you move on to a cave level.
Yes, but yes, you can, you can go play other side scrollers, right? You know that you can go play other games that are literally inspired by this format, right?
And you hear the water droplets and the reverb of the instruments. Oh, it's perfect.
Why don't you make
Here
your
comes the
own
kicker, though.
soundtrack?
How do you do that when the game is built out of miles of empty space?
Right.
When you're running through open fields for...
Right, which is why they made the intelligent and intentional decisions that they made for that soundtrack.
20 minutes, maybe random piano riffs are your only option. You can't compose a soundtrack to that.
No, they could... Look, they could have, but they made a decision intentionally. Crazy, because they still could have done that. I mean, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is a good example of how you can have these big open areas that have more melodic sounds to them. But for Breath of the Wild, they just wanted to get experimental. But if you have been in the Zelda fandom for as long as I have, I remember back in 2013, we wouldn't see Breath of the Wild for another 3 years. And they made that presentation where they said, yeah, for the next 3D Zelda, we really want to experiment and we want to throw out every aspect of the Zelda formula and start from scratch to make a cool-ass video game. Clearly to them, that even went going as far as to take a very different approach with how they conceptualize the soundtrack. And even on top of that, just because fucking Hyrule Field is piano blips and blops and whatever, every other aspect of the gameplay has, or like every other major section of the game has a memorable tune to go with it. So this criticism has literally never been accurate.
What the hell?
Like this
Oh my god, no way.
Guys, I'm gonna be so real. Just imagine this is the dog playing the nominee song, by the way. This video is so ass, dude. This guy is just, yeah, May is completely right. Son is fluent in Old Zillion. This video is so ass, bro. Oh my god, and we still have 5 minutes left. All right, well, guys, we're coming up to the surface to get some air. Everybody, we're gonna take a deep breath, and we're going right back in.
So you have to take a different approach.
Yes.
Even if you tried to score the music the old way, not only would that be unrealistic, having the same track play on loop for what will be hours of your playtime would probably get annoying fast.
Yes. Bro is saying like literally true things this far into his dog shit ass video. Obviously, that's why they did. Yes. Oh my god, the Ocarina of Time thing is it's so good. The Ocarina of Time Hyrule Field theme is so fucking good. Guys, what are we getting on the Discord? We can just actually play Ocarina of Time. I gotta be real, that segment made me just want to play it again. Because you know what I like to do? I like to actually play and love video games. Wow! Even if they're new or if they're old, if they are good video games, I like to play them. Crazy.
Field and Ocarina of Time only worked well because even that was still small enough to have a dedicated soundtrack to, and it still fit.
Well, here's something crazy as well that you're not even going to acknowledge in this dog shit video, is that Koji Kondo actually created stems of 16 measure parts that would randomly play. They would like randomize the order while you were exploring around in Hyrule Field. Wow! Isn't that such an interesting way to implement the soundtrack like that? What an interesting concept. That actually would have really bolstered his point, by the way. I'm actually not even kidding. Now that I'm thinking about it, if he wanted to say, why didn't they do it that way like Koji Kondo did it in Ocarina of Time? He didn't do that because he doesn't know that, because he doesn't actually love video game music like the rest of us do. So...
fit really well because the track was able to fill you with a sense of adventure as you run across it. And on top of that...
Yes, but Breath of the Wild is going for a different sense of that sense of adventure. Because it's trying to fill you with the beauty of nature as opposed to going on a fantasy roller coaster ride through a fucking cute ass heightened fantasy world. It wants you to actually feel like you're out and taking in the beauty of nature. What the hell? Stop, get this good movie off your screen. Get this good ass movie's name out of your fucking mouth, dude. Fuck you. Get this shit off of here. You're talking about fucking Zelda,
music
bro.
like Koji Kondo. So how do you
I don't think that you can either. But I'd like to see you try.
solve this then? Well, for one, we could scale down the open world so that the music doesn't have to cater to a 60-hour-long game that's filled with bloat anyway. Looking at you, Tears of the Kingdom. But more than that, bring back
Tears of the Kingdom slander in 2026. I'm gonna be real. This is boring. I'm gonna be real. I'm so tired of having these discussions. That's just straight up boring. That's just straight up dog shit and boring. I don't even want to give this guy the Paper Wings grace because he just pisses me off so much. Holy shit. At least those guys were really sincere about them being nostalgic compared to this crap. Yeah, even with them, I was like, hey, your video's a little boring, but hey, I actually agree with you. This 7 is one of the best games ever made. You know what I mean? I'm with you, man. God.
that intent. Bring back themes.
I've literally shown that all these so this isn't even Nintendo music isn't the same anymore since we're clearly wrapping up the video. He just wanted to say, so this isn't even Nintendo games don't have intent because you haven't brought up Mario Kart a single time. This is just, hey, I just wanted to complain about Donkey Kong and Zelda specifically. I didn't even pick up on that this whole time. He has only complained about 2 games. What did I say in the intro, guys? We want to talk about fucking Nintendo soundtracks that have been great in the last 5 years. Mario Kart and Kirby Air Riders, Kirby in the Forgotten Land, Mario Wonder, Bowser's Fury, Xenoblade Chronicles 3, Splatoon 3, all of the Mario RPGs of the last few years. Fantastic soundtracks with an incredible amount of memorability and intent. And you have decided to clickbait by saying all Nintendo music isn't hitting the same anymore, when in reality you wanted to complain about 3 specific video games that all show that these franchises are simply in a state of experimentation. It's not that deep. You're just old and boring. He's gatekeeping himself from the good music so he can still complain. Yep, actually true.
Places just by listening. Bring back sound design that's woven into the music.
Get one of my favorite movies of all time out of your fucking mouth, bro. Get this shit out of your video.
Feeling alienated.
This movie is too good. That movie has too much artistic and musical intent for you to be fucking using it for this dog shit video, dude. This video is so ass, bro.
And a track I can't end this video without talking about is Sticker Brush Symphony. This is the standout.
Dude. I don't get this video, man. You guys actually just want to listen to some good music? Let's listen to the ostrich theme. You can go talk about whatever the fuck you want to talk about. I'm gonna listen to some good music over here, okay?
Playlist of bangers, and it sticks out in my mind. This track is
yeah, I'm getting ready, Pauline. Come on. Ostrich, ostrich.
The barrels you need to navigate, and if you make one mistake,
Ostrich.
which would be the obvious.
Sing it, sister.
It holds you back. And I'm down.
Oh, she's got bars?
One of the most common tracks in the game for one of the most
Alright, that's
frustrating
enough. What are we
sections.
talking about?
Sounds like such a backwards idea, but it's truly a
Alright, we're just praising Sticker Brush
combo.
Symphony, alright.
But what's even crazier is what the song did outside. There's this video originally by
Oh, it's so good. It's so peak.
You can see it.
Oh, what the fuck is he talking about? Alright, let's go like a minute back, because I was being mean as fuck. I will admit I was being mean as fuck. Let's go to like... Yeah, let's go to about here, because he was just talking about how Sticker Brush Symphony is an interesting piece because it seems so at odds with the setting of the level, which is literally true. And yeah, obviously we've known for like 30 years that that's why the song is so good. It's also really weird how if he really wanted to bolster his points about David Wise's music, he hasn't brought up Tropical Freeze this entire time. Donkey Kong game with music by David Wise from fucking 2014.
What the hell?
So it's only like 15 years old, or like 11 years old. Could have bolstered his points quite easily. Anyway.
Sounds like such a backwards idea, but it's truly a genius combo. But what's even crazier is what the song did outside of the game. There's this video on the internet originally by Taya777.
Oh yeah, the internet checkpoint.
In
Yep.
Japanese, and the thumbnail was the vines from Bramble Blast. So there was a bit of
what a
mystery
nice...
there, like, what the heck is this video about, right? And once you clicked on it, Sticker Brush Symphony started playing. And you'd think, oh, this is just another video for Sticker Brush Symphony.
Okay.
But when you scroll down into the comments, you can see it.
I'm gonna be real. What the fuck are you talking about? I'm gonna be real. Who cares? Who cares?
Became so much more than that. With over 6 million views, people called it an internet checkpoint. People from all walks of life would share positive, personal moments with each other. Checkpoint. I went from 326 pounds to 230 and still... So this is like completely not related to any sort of decision that Nintendo makes with how they implement their music, bro. This is like purely just an internet phenomenon with a beloved song that could theoretically happen with like literally any song, and it doesn't have to do with it doesn't have anything to do with fucking anything. Yeah, guys, I hate this video. Guys, let's just finish the video. Now. Unfortunately, the original video got taken down due to copyright, but a user named Oxygen re-uploaded the video with the exact same title, thumbnail, and description to preserve those experiences and keep the internet checkpoint movement going.
This doesn't have anything
truly beautiful about a song being able to evoke people's experiences like that. To get them all to come together and share personal hardships and struggles that they've overcome as a way to say, we're all in this together.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. What the fuck does that have to do with Nintendo music isn't the same anymore, bro? There's literally nothing that you can do to convince me that this is like worth it.
Don't give up on life. That's the type of music Nintendo was known for. Music
That's
that
the
would
type of music that Nintendo was known for? They still are, dude. They still are. They still are, because guess what? Everyone's going to be coming together under these Donkey Kong Bonanza songs and other the Mario Kart thing, and they're like, what a nostalgic tune. I remember where I was when I first was hearing the Puzzle Plant Galaxy theme song. Wait till this guy realizes people have been doing this with a turn of forest and emotion from X and Y black and white for years. This is not just with old stuff. True. Plus says whoever made this video doesn't know how to formulate an argument at all.
impact you so much that even strangers on the internet felt like familiar friends you're meeting at the checkpoint of life. I want Nintendo to go back to that feeling. And I hope this video...
But can you... Okay, so you said it doesn't have the same amount of intent, which is not true. The game design is simply just different in the modern day. And different composers are at Nintendo now because Koji Kondo is old. So none of that is going to change. This, even if you were right, even if you were right, like even if I agreed with you on specific things, it's never gonna happen. And even if you want, like for example with Zelda, if you wanted to change the scale of the game for a more specific soundtrack, crazy that you didn't mention Echoes of Wisdom. Wow! Where they did that and then nobody got the game or seems to be as into it as I was, so I don't have anyone to talk about Echoes of Wisdom with. It was a pretty good game, guys. You guys are just too baby. You guys are just... The people online are just too baby goo goo gaga to understand the UI the way that I do. But I liked playing as Zelda. I liked that game. The soundtrack was really good. But I don't have anyone to talk about it with. But anyway, you could have brought that up, but it actually went against your whole argument, so you didn't acknowledge it.
Can serve as a reminder of what Nintendo music once was.
And plus, if you want, like, electronica, it's... This... You... And if you... Sorry, this video is fucking breaking my brain, dude. If you want old stuff, you can go listen to the old stuff. Because guess what? The new stuff will become old stuff. You can't draw a line in the sand because you haven't demonstrated that you want to draw a line in the sand anywhere. The only way to make this argument was to say there's a definitive point at which the music was getting worse, and you're not going to do that because you can't do that. It's you made it up. You made this up in your head to get upset about because you're old.
Maybe what it can be again one day.
Because
hiding the music behind an amiibo with a $30 up.
Okay, so I want to agree with you because it was dog shit that they hid musical capabilities behind a $30 amiibo. Yes, but it doesn't lock the specific music with intent. It locks a jukebox behind the amiibo. One final blow to this horrible video.
Charge, yeah. That ain't the Nintendo I once knew. If you've got your own...
Bro just wants to farm Nintendo hate views. Yeah. Are we gonna say borderline grifted? Are we gonna say borderline grift moment?
Checkpoint. I want you to drop it in the comments.
Yeah, I would like it if people would say this. I would like if people said this shit
on this video too. And if you're interested, I've got a little internet checkpoint of my own.
Oh?
We'd love to have you. Streams Monday and Wednesday at 7 p.m. EST. Come through, man. The chat gives me like 90% of my video ideas anyway, so if
I don't want to watch
accidentally
that.
become featured in the next vid.
Guys, we fucking made it. We fucking made it. I can't believe we survived. Yes. Let's have some fun. We're gonna look at the comments, okay? Let's look. Rare was simply on a whole different level back in the day. Rare was in a different place back in the day. I really like the soundtracks, but you're nostalgia glazing. Honestly, this goes for all video games. Specifically modern AAA games. No. People want to make video games like movies nowadays. Go play indie games, bro. Go play indie games. I don't care. I'm excited for big games and I'm excited for small games. Limitations encourage creativity. This applies to pixel art, graphics, game design, and music. Yeah, obviously. But it's like... it's fine. Man, I still remember when I revisited DKC's soundtrack after 15 years. It's really fun to have a nostalgic look back, isn't it? I was working at my miserable corporate job. Once the classic DK drums hit, I was transported to a different time and place. Forgot all about all my problems for 1.5 hours. And he hearted it as well. What did he say? We must be related because I've been in the same situation. Man, literally every person does this with like any music, bro. That's like not a special experience. I'm sorry. Giovanna Stell actually has like a whole paragraph. Let's see what they have to say. I think you only showing a few games really hurts your argument. True! Wow! Yes, DKC does have good music, but if it's the only example you're going to show, it makes me believe that the DK series are the only games you enjoy listening to. If you truly love older Nintendo music, then you should get more examples of old Nintendo music you enjoy. Also, there are many other cases of modern Nintendo music that apply your logic of old games. For example, from the composer argument, you say that because there's a different composer, it doesn't match the vibe of the DKC games. I'd argue that's not what it's going for. Bonanza is very similar to Odyssey, so it makes sense why they would get the composer for Odyssey because it matches the vibe perfectly. For your intent argument, you say that old music reflects on what you're doing in the level while new music doesn't. I personally think lots of modern Nintendo music also does this, like Kirby Air Rider, Splatoon 3, Mario Kart World, and Metroid Prime 4. Shit, I didn't even bring up Metroid Prime 4. I just beat that game too. The soundtrack was fucking fantastic. Although I think some of your points are good. I would say on the surface. I need to give some good examples. There's a lack of examples in your video, and some parts in the video are lacking. Now I'm gonna be real. I think this video is like beyond redemption, but you gave very fair and kind feedback, way nicer than I was ever going to. As a counter argument, ooh. Wow! Music was also more reused in the old games, so you heard it more often and it was more memorizable. The house theme of Zelda is repeated all the time. True. I couldn't. That's actually a fantastic counter argument because, the house music just plays in like every house in Zelda. Hyrule Fields repeated a bunch, whereas there's just more tracks used for more specific scenarios, more individual tracks used for more specific scenarios, and more modern soundtracks. Crazy how he didn't heart it though. I could listen to the Donkey Kong Country 2 soundtrack all day. True. It's a good soundtrack. The wildest thing about Sticker Brush Symphony is apparently it was almost cut from the... I don't care. I don't care, bro. Biowater from Silk Song comes to mind. Such an ethereal, melancholic... Yeah, and that's literally a game that came out like 2 months ago. So... What? Biz vocal stimming cameo?
Definitely enough. Donkey Kong. I guess what I'm trying to say.
No, I'm pretty sure he was just humming the song, dude. As an autistic person, I don't think he was necessarily vocal stimming. I don't believe you. I'm gatekeeping my neurodivergency here. Love the water music in Donkey Kong Country. Cool. You didn't mention the Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze though. Wow! I don't know if it's modern coming from 2014. It's more modern than the original trilogy, but David Wise absolutely still had it for that one. That OST was splendid and does everything that we like about the old DKC soundtracks and even tackles some new genres like metal. Like DKTF is the latest Nintendo game with an OST I could rate 9 or 10 out of above. Actually, no, scratch that. There's Xenoblade 2. Yeah, what about Xenoblade 3 though? I still haven't played DK. Oh, then I don't care. I don't care anymore. Who cares? The real question is, do you, yes you, that guy, oh not me, that guy Biss, fuck with Donkey. Yeah, crazy how he didn't bring up Tropical Freeze at all. I replayed DK64 before Bonanza. Couldn't believe how magical the music was. I still loved the music in Bonanza though, but I get the point. No, true. True, because guess what? Both games have great soundtracks, and you don't have to discard one just because you are more nostalgic for the other. And he doesn't even respond?
What the hell?
Loving the Majora's
Oh
Mask
my God,
PFP.
no way.
I'm gonna like this guy's comment because he's right. Funnily, when it comes to listening to the same song for hours in the game, the indie game Balatro literally has only one song that constantly plays on loop the entire time. That's a song I never get sick of because of how great a track it was. True. Yeah, I kind of proved myself wrong with the Hyrule Field. Yeah, you did. This video was ass. Even then, if the issue is repetition, you could just make a longer track. Wow, it's almost like these guys are being far more constructive than anything in the actual video. I always read books while listening to DKC. That's wholesome as fuck. Can we sort by new? Also, Plush, I think you were asking how many views this has. This has 11,000 views. God damn. Alright, let's sort by newest. Bro clearly did not play Mario Kart World. True. Oh shit. Honestly, I think games like Genshin Impact do exactly what you say in 845 just because it has regional sound collections instead of just one repeating songs. Same thing like what I was saying with FF7 Rebirth. Certain places have multiple songs to choose from, and the collection then grab the song choices from changes per region and combat songs that it'll switch to, so the normal song doesn't grow stale. Like my littlest sister got me to try the game after not giving it a shot for a while, and the soundtrack is what drew me in most. I think it does exactly what you wish Zelda would. I'm never playing Genshin, so... Bro, okay. It's not a Nintendo problem. It's a gaming in general problem. Damn. Tourist YouTuber slop. Damn, that's crazy. Yes, the game music today is really boring. Like, they don't even try and... Nope. Wrong. Listen to Mario Kart World. This script is AI for sure. Whoa. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that one. Oh, here's a crazy one. The criticism of DK Bonanza may be valid. I don't really know because you didn't provide many examples of the forgettable DK Bonanza music. Your take on Breath of the Wild makes zero sense whatsoever, because if you put Ocarina of Time music in Breath of the Wild, you'd be ruining the tone. Breath of the Wild can't have that kind of music. It's a story about you finding out your friends are all dead and lost a battle 100 years ago. It's supposed to be sad and quiet. Also, I don't know about you, but I find Cass's theme and the stable theme, the music of the village's towns, the champions' themes, the themes of the divine beasts, especially Attack on Varuda, and for God's sake, Hyrule Castle, are absolutely iconic and extremely memorable. Your solution to Breath of the Wild's music problem is literally to just make another Legend of Zelda game. So it seems you just don't like Breath of the Wild. These takes can have merit, but it seems that they come mostly from nostalgia or just personal preference, and this video does a pretty poor job of fairly comparing music and demonstrating that there is a problem today. Breath of the Wild came out at the same time as Mario Odyssey. This person's cooking the fuck out of them. So it doesn't even make sense to use Breath of the Wild as an indicator of a worse time period. It came before Mario Kart 8 Deluxe and its DLC. Mario Kart World, which say what you want about the gameplay and price, still has an amazing soundtrack, and every other Nintendo game that came after 2017. New Horizons, Smash Ultimate, the new Kirby game, new Mario Party games, Echoes of Wisdom, there are a few post Breath of the Wild games you failed to mention in talking about the Switch and the music, and I find it hard to agree. They also failed to make impressive music. Even smaller titles like Mario Maker have fantastic soundtracks too, I'd say. Overall, this video doesn't defend its points very well, and it just comes off as you disliking the concept of Breath of the Wild itself and having nostalgia for Donkey Kong Country 2. You didn't even compare past game music as a whole to future game music as a whole. You just made a case that DKC music is better than Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom and Bonanza without even naming much music from the modern games to make your point. And I simply clapped. Oh, true. The moment he mentions David Wise, this guy's bass critic. Look, you can like one good artist and still have dog shit opinions. You're kind of wrong. Alright, I think we're running a little bit short on comments, so I think we're just going to go ahead and call it there, I think. I want to wrap up the experience I had with this video. I have said I know I've said a lot of mean, nasty things, but that's because your main 3 points are completely not real. And then I think a couple of comments did a really good job showing that you just didn't show enough good examples to even make a good case for why I should believe you. The main problem I think I have with this video is I don't believe you, and I can't even agree to disagree. Your main 3 points being that old things had intent and modern things don't is obviously not true. The fact that there are new composers that are worse than Koji Kondo doesn't even make any sense, and it's completely just it's a destructive criticism. It's not constructive criticism at all. And as far as the game design, Echoes of Wisdom didn't sell nearly as much as Breath of the Wild did, so I don't think this kind of game design is going anywhere from Nintendo. And frankly, Breath of the Wild and DK Bonanza have good soundtracks anyway. Wow! So basically, your video is just kind of ass. I think really the only thing you managed to demonstrate is that you're really old and you're wanting to get inside people's heads and convince them to take the doomer pill and be less satisfied with their lives and find less joy in new games and soundtracks that come out at the hands of the hard work of newer composers. So I don't believe you, and the video was really bad. Wow! And I think we're gonna go ahead and sign off there.
Can't you make it just a little more?
Hey guys, Izzy-Doodle doing a call to action here. Please make sure if you're new that you're subscribed and ring the bell. And if you are here in general, just click that dang like button, please. I would really appreciate that. It all really helps out the stream. Please also check out the link to my Discord server in the pinned message in the chat, and you can join really cool artists and people for random shitposts and discussions, and it's quite silly and fun. Thanks, Hawk Tua.